Hey, Michael Bowen here with Florida Man Rides. All right, so by now I hope you've watched my unboxing video of the awesome WhirlWind Carbon Max propeller, and I hope you've also watched my install videos of those same propellers. If not, after this video, make sure you definitely do that. All right, so I've had a few weekends taking the props out into the marsh a few times. Got a real good feel for them. I'm still tinkering with the pitch. I want to get the pitch just right. I want to get the pitch just right on both of them. We're still going to be adjusting the pitch, see what really works best for these boat setups. There's so much more than just the prop. There's the engine, there's the hull, there's the metal work. There's lots of things to consider. There's your ride style, what you prefer. Either maybe you want a slower pitch that's going to push harder on the ground, or maybe you want a little bit higher pitch, you get a little more response on the water and in the trails. You know, that's all, in part of it. So we're still tinkering with the pitch, but I do feel comfortable enough to give you a rundown on what I think about the propellers. All right, so the first major question that needs to be answered: am I satisfied? Absolutely. I can't be happier. The prop make and build is a quality that far surpasses what I'm coming from. I was running a much older first generation water walker propeller, so me personally going from that to this latest generation Carbon Max WhirlWind propeller, it's moving 20 years into the present from the past. And with my dad's boat, he was going from a 2-blade to a 3-blade. So he was really wanting to check out that 3-blade and see what it was like, see how it responded and how it handled differently than a 2-blade. Changes that I've noticed already out of the box. Is it quieter? It's not quieter, I don't think is the right term for the sound. It's a different pitch, definitely. Whereas with my old water walker, this square tip, I could hear it coming around. I could hear it coming around and catching the every time it would come around. It was a much louder thunk as it was coming around. These tapered edges, the shape of the foil, when these things come around, yes, you can hear it, but it's not as harsh on your ears. It's a little bit more muted. So the 3-blade is even less harsh on your ears because the pitch is not as intense on each blade, and there's more of them. The 2-blade, my wife sits, about 2.5, 3 feet away from where that blade is coming by. The tip of the blade is coming right by the back of her head. So I asked her, I was like, can you notice any difference? She says, what? I said, can you notice any difference in the sound of the propellers? Like, she takes her earmuffs off and she says, yeah, I guess it's a little bit quieter. So I think that speaks volumes whenever somebody that's not mechanically inclined does say, yes, they can tell a difference. Right? So it's not just me imagining, it's not me just reading the literature online and saying, oh, well, they say it's going to make a difference in the sound. If you get somebody who has absolutely no idea, if they say, yes, they can tell a difference, then, there's a difference there to be heard. So performance-wise, yes, with the GPS speed on my phone and the GoPro, I have noticed a very slight increase in max speed. All right, that being said, at the max speeds, all the other factors come into much bigger play than just the prop. Your total horsepower hasn't changed. Your hull hasn't changed, so your drag in the water hasn't changed. Your ride in the water hasn't changed. Your resistance to air hasn't changed. The shape of the cage, the shape of your seats, all that stuff like that. None of that has changed. So at max speeds, the wind resistance to that stuff exponentially increases. So your terminal velocity, it's going to take a lot more to increase your terminal velocity than probably just a more efficient prop. But what I can tell you is at lower speeds, where those things aren't such a big factor, I have really noticed a difference. I'm turning a lower RPM to get up on a plane in deep water. I'm turning a lower RPM running through the trails in the marsh, and I'm turning a lower RPM just cruising, out on the deep water to maintain the same speeds that I was turning a higher RPM with this propeller. So do I think the propeller is a little more efficient than my older style? Absolutely. So I'm turning lower pitches, lower RPMs to achieve the same speeds and same cruising, performance that I was with my older prop. So, I'm really happy with that. And I've also noticed it at the pump. It's taken, maybe a gallon or two less to fill back up after a day's ride than it was. Where it was taking, 17, 18 gallons. Now I'm taking closer to like 15 or 16. When I get out there, I don't like to think about, can I save gas? I want to have fun. So I don't think it's really me changing my riding preference as opposed to the prop is helping me be a little bit more efficient. Would I recommend WhirlWind propellers? Absolutely. There's nothing not to like. Their build quality is top-notch, industry-leading. Their prices are right in line with everyone else. The customer service is phenomenal. And they got the final piece of the puzzle here recently, Florida representation with their partnership with Andrew right there in Lake Wales. You can go down to Carbon Concepts, look at their whole lineup, look at his whole lineup. I tell you, you're going to find something you like right there in Lake Wales. You can't do it anywhere else. Let's say you'd like to try out WhirlWind propellers. Well, WhirlWind propellers has the new 2-bulb hub design. And you're running a hub with the 3-bulb hub design. It's a funny thing. There's 3 major manufacturers of airboat propellers, but there's only 2 hub designs. It's almost like one of them is It's almost like one of them is cop. It's almost like one of the manufacturers is, I'm sure it's just a coincidence. So anyways, let's say you have a 3-bulb hub design and you'd like to make a change, but you don't know what to do. What you do is you take your hub down to Andrew in Lake Wales. He can look at it, inspect it, and tell you what it's worth. There is value in your hub, even though it is the 3-bulb design. There's nothing wrong with the 3-bulb design. It's just that WhirlWind pioneered and created the 2-bulb design with a spacer plate and through hub design. That's the design that they're using. So if you have a 3-bulb hub design, take it down there. Let's see if you can see if you can trade it in. But if you are starting from scratch, maybe you got a whole new build, or you let a 50-cent dollar store flip-flop go through your propeller and it exploded. I've seen it happen. Go down to Lake Wales, check them out, look at the whole lineup. Maybe you end up with a Carbon Concept, maybe you end up with a WhirlWind propeller. Either way, the selection is amazing. You got to go down there and check them out. So that's it. If you see me out there in the marsh, try to look my best. Don't hesitate to come on over, check out the props, check out the products, ask any questions you like. I'll do my very best to answer them. If I can't answer them, I know some people who can. If you haven't watched those previous 2 videos, go check them out. So that's it. I am Michael Bowen. This is Florida Man Rides. We'll see you out there. Keep chasing them wet spots.